Well, it's my mum's birthday coming up soon, and instead of a birthday card, what I'm going to do is make her a deep frame box with her favourite flowers in. Now, her favourite flowers are daffodils, so I've drawn out some daffodils here on some just normal copy paper and some grass. And then I'm going to use my new light box that I got delivered today to trace these through. And the reason I did them on copy paper first is in case I mess them up. And then what I'm going to do is trace them through here. Look how well that comes through. That is awesome. So now all I have to do is trace these over on some thicker card, because that way, when I cut them out to colour them in, they are going to stand up much nicer in the box. I think these sorts of things are so nice to give instead of cards to loved ones. So there's one. All I need to do is pop the other one under there. I cannot believe how well this light box is working, and it wasn't expensive. It wasn't one of the name brand ones, so that's why I bought it. But I'm loving it. I think it'd be great for this sort of thing. I'll link it in the description below. Well, it only took me about 4 or 5 minutes to do that, and so it's going to be quite a graphic style, I suppose, with the outline, so I can put that away. I love that. That was amazing. So what I need to do now is cut these out, and I'm going to cut them out because I want a lot of the black to show, but I don't want any white. If there's any white there, I can just trim that up with a knife. So the next thing is to colour these in, and I'm going to be using these, my Spectrum Noir Illustrator pens, because I love these to colour in with. And these are really easy to use. I'm just going to go round. They will blend in with this black a tiny bit at the edges, but I don't mind about that. I'll just soften these edges off a little bit. And that was the vanilla I used there, and now I'm going to go in with the daffodil yellow. Oddly enough, even because it is a daffodil, and just blend in over the top of that darker colour, and then go over with a really bright yellow as well, which will bring that out lovely. There we go. So that's the first one done, and I just have got to do the stem and the leaves. I'll finish off the rest. I'll show you how I'm going to put it together and do a background for it. These are finished being coloured in, and what I'm going to do is emboss them using a clear embossing powder. But that will not only make them really nice and shiny, but it'll also make them a little bit more rigid as well. But I think it just makes them show up a little bit more. So I'm just pushing my cutout into the stamp, which is the glue, taking my clear embossing powder and just popping that over everywhere like that, tapping that off, and that should be nice and covered. I always work on a piece of paper, because if not, I end up losing half of my embossing powder. So now I can just pour that back in like that. I'm going to get my heat gun up nice and warm first before I do anything else, because you get a much better result if it's nice and warm. And then all I'm going to do is emboss that, and you'll see the massive difference it makes. Look how nice that is compared to those ones. So I'm going to finish those off. So now what I'm going to do is make the background for my flowers, and this is just a piece of card, obviously, that I cut out to fit. It's not proper watercolour paper. I'm going to go over it with a bit of a yellow in places to start with. And you can see this isn't proper watercolour paper because it's kind of soaking in, but I don't mind. I'm using what I've got. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who got me a coffee. I can't express how much I appreciate people buying me coffees, because it really does keep me making videos on this channel, because I make no money off this channel at all, but I love doing this stuff, so thank you. And if you buy me a coffee, the link's in the description below. Please leave me a little comment. I love reading the comments. So I'm just putting some random colours, yellows and oranges on here like this, and then I'm going to let that dry before I do the next stage. Give it a quick dry. Give my brush a little wash out, and now I'm going to go over it with, I believe these are blues. And that's it, that's the background, and I'm going to leave that to dry now for about half an hour, and that should be fully dry. Well, my background's all nice and dry now, so I'm going to glue that on. All I'm using is a white glue, but one of the things I will say is always make sure that you've got the tag around the right way. The amount of times I haven't checked that, and then I've glued my backing on the wrong way round. I'm going to paint an even coat of my PVA glue or white glue all over this, making sure I get to all the edges. Put this on so it covers up, and then add a weight onto the top of that as well to keep that nice and stuck down and dry. It won't take long to dry. It literally will probably take about 10 minutes. Well, that's all glued down nicely. It didn't take long at all. And the first thing I'm going to do is decide where I'm going to put everything. I've kind of got an idea anyway, because I've been playing around with it. So that's roughly how I'm going to set it up. I've got myself some of these little foam tabs, and I've cut some into some much smaller pieces as well. But the first layer, I'm not going to use foam tabs. All I'm going to use for this is a sticky roller. And I'm going to put that about there. I don't want it right on the bottom. That's not very straight, is it? But never mind, that'll be all right. It's grass, for goodness sake. And that one's going in the middle. And I can use these slightly thinner tabs for this. And then the other ones are going to be a little bit more prominent than this one. All I need to do is take the backing off these bits. And then place that where I want it. I'm going to place that one in the middle. And as you can see, that is lifted slightly, but not as much as what it will be when I use the next layer. So I'll carry on doing this layer, and I'll show you what I'm going to do for the next layer. So they're on there now, and what I'm going to do is pop this bit over there like that. And this is where I'm going to use these much thicker little pads, because that'll give it a lift. These are about double the thickness. I will link everything in the description below so you can get hold of it if you want to make one. Not a problem. So that should be enough. Yeah, that'll fit there nicely. So that's covering up those bottom bits. And now all I've got to do is attach these ones here like this. I'm going to put one there and one there like that, using the same method. So all my flowers are in now. All I've got to do is add my final bits, and that's some of these bits. I've planned them out how I want them to go on there, and they're going to go on there like that, with some tufts of grass, and some tulip flowers that haven't quite come out. And I'll be putting them on using these sticky pads in the same way. I've finished putting this all together now, and all I've got to do is pop this into the frame. Might help if I put the glass in first. I did clean the glass because it was a bit smeary. Pop that bit in next, and that bit in there. Push over me bits. Like that, and there we go. That's all finished. I think that's come out really pretty, and I'm going to give this to my mum on her birthday, which is coming up very soon. So I'm just going to pop happy birthday mum on the back there and use one of these. Put that up the right way. There we go. So that says happy birthday mum on it, and now that's all finished. I love that. I think it's really pretty. The thing that makes this without a shadow of a doubt is the embossing. Do you agree? But there's a lot of depth in that as well. I'm not sure if it can show up on the camera. But my mum is going to really, really like this and really enjoy having that either on her wall or on her side. Hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making this project. I always love making things for my mum. Boop that like button, hit that subscribe button, and check out the video that's coming up next, which is another different idea on how to do these frames, because they're so cheap to buy and they make great gifts. Take care. Enjoy your crafting. Bye.